Hello everyone, welcome back. It's time for Friday Reads, as I'm sure you figured out from the title. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Books that I finished this week. I finished 3. First one was A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers, which is Wayfarers number 2. I definitely enjoyed this one. I listened to this on audio. It was narrated by Rachel Dulude, who also narrated The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, so I really enjoyed her narration. It was centered around 2 of the characters that we met in the first Wayfarers and their subsequent adventures after the fact. I won't go into too much detail. I did definitely enjoy this one. I did not enjoy it as much as I enjoyed The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet though. I don't know if I can exactly explain why that is right now. I just got off work and my brain's kind of fried a little bit. But I ended up giving this one 4 stars. It was definitely still good, but I don't know, it was just missing something for me. It's difficult to explain. The second book that I finished this week was The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This book is fucking important. Okay, this book is important for a lot of reasons, and I feel like this should be required reading. It is so good. It is so good, and it feels so real. And I think that's one of the reasons that I loved it so much. And I have tried to like sit down and put my thoughts on paper about this book, and it is really hard to do. I loved it, and I felt like it's so important, and it is so relevant. And it makes you, especially as a white person, especially as an LEO wife, it makes you look at things from a different perspective. I highly recommend reading this. Like I said, I really feel like this should be required reading. It is just so good. And the next book that I read was, and finished, I finished this last night actually, was The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This was a reread for me. This was part of my retro rereads challenge. This is an excellent example of Gothic literature. At times it can be a little bit tedious, but overall I really enjoyed it. It lived up to the reread. 5 out of 5 stars. So what books am I currently reading? I finally decided to start on Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan, I'm gonna guess. Seanan McGuire. I'm really only like 20% in. It's, as you can see, it is really short. It's less than 200 pages. And so far it's weird. I have not read enough of it to really have like a real opinion about it so far. But so far it's a little weird. I'm shooting for finishing this by Sunday. My work schedule is a little bit weird the next couple days, so I'm off on Sunday. We'll see what happens, but yeah. And the other book that I am reading, Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I'm about 20% of the way through this. So this book is about a Chinese American family that's living in a small town in Ohio during the 1970s. The eldest daughter has been found dead. That's not a spoiler because it's on the back of the book. Can't really tell you that much more than that because I am not far enough into it to like have a real opinion on exactly what's going on in this book right now. There's been some passages so far that have stuck with me about like living vicariously through your children and things like that. And man, the racism that I have seen so far in this is like, whoa. But I have to keep reminding myself that this is the 1970s. Same thing with the sexism that's in this as well. This is like written in the 1970s. So I'm really interested to see, you know, where this goes. So what am I going to be reading next? The only 2 things that I feel like I am definitely going to be reading next are actually some graphic novels. Unless you live under a rock, you know the movie Logan came out, which is, you know, based on the Wolverine from the X-Men, and it's partially based off of the Old Man Logan story arc. If you know anything about that at all, I know about this much. We went and saw that movie twice, and then I was going through some stuff again and found Wolverine the Brotherhood. This is my husband's, but I don't even know that he's read it yet. So I decided that I'm gonna read this. And once I get done with this, my husband bought this, the actual Old Man Logan. And he hasn't read it yet, and so I'm gonna read it before he is because that's how I roll. So those are the only 2 things that I know that I'm gonna end up reading next. I don't really have much in the way of like, you know, plans. I actually don't even have an audiobook going right now that I think about it, because I'm just not 100% sure what I want to listen to yet. It's kind of like up in the air. I think I might go ahead and start Blizzard and Glass, which is number 4 in the Dark Tower series. So today is the 24th, so we have a week left, in March. So that means probably next Friday. I won't be doing Friday reads, but I'll go ahead and post like my wrap up and all that kind of stuff. Tome Topple is going to be starting on April 7th. I am actually going to be participating. This is my first readathon that I'll be doing, so I'll be doing a video about my TBR and that kind of thing. I think it's over 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing a buddy read during those 2 weeks with Jess and Christina from Game of Thrones. We're going to be reading East of Eden by John Steinbeck, so I'm really excited to read that. I'm going to pick one of my longer audiobooks to listen to during that time, and then I also have another book that I'm going to be reading during that time, and I will talk about that in the video. So if you're doing Tome Topple, then you should totally let me know. And I'll post the announcement video and all that stuff, all the information, Goodreads group, blah, 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 in the down bar below. So you have access to all of that should you so desire to participate. So sorry I'm a little bit spacey today. Appreciate you guys sticking it out with me. As always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, I promise I'm not always this spacey. Make sure you click the thumbs up button and hit subscribe if you have not already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.